ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. أما بعد فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إني تارك فيكم الثقلين كتاب الله وعترتي أهل بيتي ما إن تمسكتم بهما لن تضلوا بعدي صلوات صلى على محمد وعلى محمد. Dear brothers and sisters in Iman, this is a very special night. It's the first night of month of Rajab. It is Shab-e Jum'ah, and it is the night of Wiladat of 7th Ma'soom, who is the 5th Imam, Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Ideally, if we had enough time, then we would have all the a'mal in detail and also some presentations. But since it's a working day, tomorrow is Friday, again a working day, and families are here with young children. Some people are traveling from some distances, and the forecast of weather is also a little bit a matter of concern. So we are trying to keep it as brief as possible. By the way, this is the month of Rajab, which is starting only tonight, but we will have plenty of opportunities in this month to, inshallah, have the lectures, a'mal, and majalis and mahafil. I think in none of the other months we have that many occasions as we have in this month of Rajab, that we combined actually some of the celebrations or some of the events. This is a month full of occasions and full of munasabat. The first one we are celebrating now, the birth of our 5th Imam, but then on Sunday night we will be commemorating the shahadat of Imam Ali an-Naqi alayhi salatu wassalam, and then on 10th of Rajab there is a Wiladat of Imam Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad alayhi salatu wassalam, while on 13th of Rajab there is a Wiladat of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. On 25th of Rajab there is Shahadat of our 7th Imam Musa al-Kazim alayhi salatu wassalam. And then on 28th of Rajab, that is the day when Imam Hussein left Medina for Makkah and then for Karbala, the last journey that started also in this month of Rajab. So we will have, inshallah, and there is a Mab'as, the Bi'sat of Prophet on 27th and Mi'raj. So if you count all these events, this is a month which is full of celebrations and commemorations, and inshallah we will get the chance to talk in those occasions. Today I would just like to begin While I was looking at the topic which I wanted to discuss, I realized that there is an important topic which at Baitul Ilm seldomly we talk about, and there are reasons we didn't pay much attention to this topic because we thought everybody is Shia and Imami, so we didn't talk much about Imamat. We spoke about many other issues, but this particular topic of Imamat as a series or as a topic, I don't recall that I ever spent enough time or lot of time to discuss this. On the other hand, if we see in Rajab and Sha'ban, if you put together, we celebrate either the Milad, the birthday, or commemorate the Shahadat of 7 Imams, 7 or 8 Imams during the months of these Rajab and Sha'ban. So more than half. So it is a very befitting time that if we can take this theme and this subject of Imamat and try to educate ourselves about this very important subject, very important topic. It is part of our Shia Usuluddin. It is a topic which distinguishes us from others. Whenever we have to, for example, give a presentation somewhere and answer this question, what is the difference between Sunni Islam and Shia Islam? While we have differences on many other topics here and there, some minor differences or some minor differences or explanations, but the major difference between the Shia and Sunni Islam is the difference on this issue of Imamat. And this is the time of social media. We are a minority. We don't have many resources. When our children, when our youth, they go to college, when they go to university, their roommates, their classmates, or the people active and involved under the name of MSA, they approach to our youth, and we also tell our youth to get involved. And when they get involved with that many Sunni friends of MSA at college or university, then again the discussion is on Imamat as a major topic. While we have other issues here and there, the minor issues, but those are not the issues which are really going to determine the topic or subject. The major issue is the issue of Imamat. So I thought it will be good that if we can have a series of lectures, not only one lecture, a series of lecture. And I recall some centers held some series of lectures in Rajab or Sha'ban on Imam Shanasi, for example, Imam Shanasi. And they start on the concept of Imamat, this institution of Imamat, our perspective on Imamat, and then the differences of approach between the Shi'i and Sunni scholars and the two schools of thought, and then reviewing the life and the contributions of our Imams from Amirul Mu'mineen coming all the way to Imamul Asr Ajjalallah Farajahu Sharif. And this series of lectures can be concluded on Nima Sha'ban on 15th of Sha'ban, when inshallah we will be celebrating the Jashan of Wiladat of our 12th Imam, then we can conclude the series. So this is the kind of idea which I have in my mind. Tonight, keeping the other things in mind, that we are here to do the a'mal and people have to go back and they have to do some a'mal, particularly this a'mal of Laylatul Raghaib. I will mention at the end that formally we will be doing the a'mal of Laylatul Raghaib inshallah on next Thursday night. According to, I think, majority of Maraji Taqleed, I just saw today some announcement also coming from Qom, that the office of Ayatollah Sistani, the office of Ayatollah Makarim, and office of certain other Maraji, they considered that this Laylatul Raghaib will be the next Thursday night, while Ayatollah Khamenei, and his opinion was that it's better to do a'mal on both, to do the a'mal tonight and also the next Thursday. So keeping that in mind, if people have time, then they can do these a'mal tonight, and then they can do these a'mal inshallah on the next Shab-e-Jummah also, to make sure, because it is a very special night and you don't want to miss the a'mal of this night. So that will come at the end. The issue of imamat is so important in our school of thought that one of our names is, as we are known as Shia, we are known as Imamiyya. As we are known Shia, we are known as Imamiyya also. We are Imamis. And then we are known as Isna Ashari. Isna Ashari means also Isna Ashar Imams. So we are Shia Isna Ashariya. We are 12ers. 12ers yani those who believe in 12 Imams. So belief in Imams and 12 Imams is part of our Shi'i set of Usul-e-Din. I keep saying this Shi'i part of Usul-e-Din because Usul-e-Din are mentioned in Sunni books as Tawheed, Nubuwwat and Qiyamat. And those are considered the three usul, or three what you call the major beliefs of Islam. And then in addition to that, to raise from the level of Islam to level of Iman, then you have to believe in Adl and you have to believe in Imamat also. So this Imamat, when I was thinking to talk about it, and since it's going to be a series of lectures, and I wanted you also to follow this series, and if you can study at your own, there is a beautiful book on this subject. This is a collection of speeches by Shaheed Ayatollah Murtaza Mutahhari. Ayatollah Murtaza Mutahhari delivered 6 lectures on this issue of Imamat, and these 6 lectures are compiled in Farsi by the name of Imamato Rahbari. Imamato Rahbari. I think these are translated in Urdu and available in Urdu. I'm not sure, Sheikh Rizwan, is this translated in English? But we will find it out that if Imamato Rahbari, if it is translated in English. But these are wonderful presentations and wonderful lectures delivered by Shaheed Mutahhari on the subject of Imamat. Before beginning his speech, he has an introduction, and I'm going to discuss only that introduction. We will get into the other details, inshallah, in coming lectures. He begins with this hadith Sakalain. And he says that if you look at this hadith, this explains that the last prophet who was here to preach and convey the last version of the Deen-e-Islam, or the final version of Islam, while he was accomplishing his mission, before his departure, he says, Inni tarikun fikum ath-Thaqalain. I am leaving behind two valuable entities, two weighty and valuable entities, that if you adhere with those two entities, you will remain on the right path and you will never go astray. You will never get deviated from the right path. And what are these two entities? Prophet says, Kitab Allahi wa itrati ahl bayti. One is Book of Allah, and the other one is my pure progeny. Shaykh Mutahari makes a point, and it is written in his book. I have his book in my library, and I am reading it again. He makes a point or observation. He says, if you want to know about this deviation of Muslim Ummah, or all this ikhtilaf, confusion, and why Ummah is not at the point where it should be and why it is lagging behind, then you look at this hadith. Because the Prophet gave a formula to his Ummah to remain on the right path. And the formula was based on two things. One was Kitab Allah, and the other one was Itrati Ahl Bayti. But then what happened? This Ummah, the Sunni part, they said, Hasbuna Kitab Allah. Whatever is in Book of Allah, that is enough for us. We don't need anything else. And when it comes to the Shi'i community, again I am saying this is what Shaykh Mutahari wrote. I am not saying it. Shaykh Mutahari says, and when it comes to the Shi'i community, don't look to their claims, but if you look at their practice, you will see that they are content with Ahlul Bayt. They are content with Ahlul Bayt. Don't look to their scholars, what they say or what they claim or what they write. But if you look at the community and their preachers and their speakers and what is going on in the community, basically the community is saying, and then he quotes particularly Akhbari Shias, who says that whatever has been narrated from our A'immah, for us that is good enough for us. We don't need to bother to look at the Quran. Quran is for them, not for us. So Quran was for Ahlul Bayt. It's a teacher manual. But for us, we have to follow what the Ahlul Bayt said. So basically, Shaykh Mutahari's finding is that none of the schools of thought took the whole formula. And if doctor gives you a prescription, and if he writes you 2 medicine, and you go to Walgreen and you say, just give me this one which is cheaper, but don't give me this other one because I don't want to have it. So you take one element and you leave the other one, you know that this prescription is not going to do anything. So Shaykh Mutahari's point is that Prophet left 2 things. Inni tarikun fikum as-Sakalain, Kitab Allah wa itrati ahla bayti. The book of Allah and the pure progeny. The Sunni part, hasbuna kitab Allah. They say book has everything and we are content with it. Ahlul Bayt, we don't need them. They don't say that, but this is how they behave. And practically, if you look to them, they will say, oh, we love Ahlul Bayt and we love Ahlul Bayt more than you. That's the claim. But then if you go and see how much they quote Ahlul Bayt, how much they care about Ahlul Bayt, how much they know about Ahlul Bayt, how much they follow Ahlul Bayt, then you will see, no, Ahlul Bayt are marginalized. They are rarely mentioned there. The other day I was speaking with one young scholar who is actually Sunni scholar, but he is a kind of fair-minded young man who is exploring all the venues. And he told me that he went to his teachers, muftis, and he said, we claim that we believe in Ahlul Bayt. This is our claim, that Shias don't have any monopoly on Ahlul Bayt. They don't have special rights. We Sunnis also believe in Ahlul Bayt. They say, yes, we believe more than them. Actually, we are the one that who believe in Ahlul Bayt. He said, that's fine. But then he said, these are our 6 books of hadith. Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawood, Nasai, Ibn Majah, Tirmizi, all these 6 books. And then I put the other books of hadith and fiqh in front of you. And you tell me that if we believe in all these Ahlul Bayt, where are the quotes and hadith and amal of Ahlul Bayt mentioned here? Everything is on Aisha and everything is on Abi Huraira and everything is as Anas bin Malik. Where is Ali? Where is Hassan? Where is Hussein? Where is Fatima? Show me. You are my teachers and here are the books. And then he says that even for these 4 or 5 personalities, you may find a few hadiths here and there. But don't you believe that there was a man by the name of Ja'far Sadiq who was teacher of Abu Hanifa? Don't you believe that there was a man by the name of Musa al-Kazim? There was a man by the name of Ali ibn Musa al-Rida. There was a man by the name of Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad, Ali al-Naqi al-Hadi, and Hassan al-Askari. Do we have anything in all these books? The collection of hadith, collection of akhlaq, collection of fiqh in Islamic sciences. Do we have anything from these personalities? Or do we know anything about them? I want to know about them. At least you make the claim and you believe they were the best people of their time. They were the most pious people of their time. They were the most noble people of their time. Yeah, these one-liners you have, but only when we talk to you. Then you agree. Yes, they were the most noble people. They were the most pious people of the time. And they were the most knowledgeable people of the time. But then, do we have anything? Is there anything mentioned in our books? And the answer was no. Aaye baaye shaaye. Then, meaning the explanations and the lame excuses and all that. So the point, my brothers and sisters, is that they are practically content with Quran and they don't bother to look into Ahlul Bayt. And the reason, and when they don't look at Ahlul Bayt, finally what happened? They had to do the guesswork. When they don't find anything in Quran, the hadith collection was very limited. particularly initially, it was forbidden to write hadith or to narrate hadith. So the hadith collections were very limited and it was all guesswork. They call it qiyas and ijtihad. On the other side, we spoke in the Ahlul Bayt, in the Shi'i community, our scholars, alhamdulillah, we had excellent scholars that who had established their scholarship in Quran. They wrote wonderful books about Quran, in tafsir, in ma'anil Quran, in ta'wil, in tafsir, but very few. In the public life, in the community, Quran was only for Quran Khani on the death of someone, or on just like putting on our heads, inshallah, in the Laylatul Qadr, and in some of those limited occasions. But Quran was not discussed, Quran was not studied, Quran was not taught, Quran is hardly people will look at it. And according to Shaheed Mutahari, I'm saying that he says that if Ummah would take this formula in its totality, fully, in full, and if Ummah would take Quran and Ahlul Bayt hand in hand together, then they would never get deviated from the right path. They would all be on the same path on which Prophet had left them. So that's a beautiful point which he makes in his book Imamato Rahbari. Then he talks about it, and that is the second point, and I will conclude the presentation. We will have plenty of discussions, inshallah, and more systemic discussions in following and in coming days. But he mentions that when we talk about Imam or Imamat, the Shi'i concept of Imamat and the Sunni concept of Imamat. First of all, he says, don't think that the Sunnis don't believe in Imamat and only Shias believe in Imamat. He says they also believe in some kind of Imamat and some kind of Imams. Matter of fact, we have only these 12 Imams, and if you count their ones, so Ghazali is also Imam, Razi is also Imam, Zamakhshari is also Imam, and you keep counting from there until today, you can have hundreds of those Imams. Shafi'i is Imam, Abu Hanifa is Imam, Malik is Imam, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal is Imam, and then there are so many. So he says, basically, they believe also in some kind of Imamat, as we believe in Imamat. But there is a difference. What kind of Imamat we believe in and what kind of Imamat they believe in. To us, Imamat, or you will better understand if first we mention their concept of Imamat. He says the Sunni concept of Imamat is only community leadership, the leadership which involves organizing people, controlling people, having army, having police, having different departments of the government, and ruling, controlling, having some kind of authority in community. This is called Imamat. This is called, man can be called Imam, or he can be called Khalifa, or this kind of leadership, they believe in it. But that's it. To them, hukumat, government, authority is Imamat. To Shi'i belief, this hukumat or this authority is just one part of the Imamat. This is not whole Imamat. Imamat, this having authority and having government and control of the society and having police and army and revenue and this and that and all those kind of things. This is part of imamat. This is not the entire concept of imamat or the institution of imamat. Then he explains that we Shias have three major areas where we look as the areas where imamat has to assert or imamat has to be there. One is, we believe that the Prophet was, again, Prophet was wearing so many hats. He was not only holding one office. While he was receiving wahi and conveying the wahi and reciting yatlu alayhim ayatehi, he was reciting the ayat and communication and bringing Quran to the community. But at the same time, Prophet was a hakim and a judge among the people also. He had to decide among people what is right, what is wrong, what is correct, what is incorrect. Religion or deen or dunya, both. Prophet was a judge, hakim and qazi. Prophet was a man that who had to build their character, their morals. Prophet was the one that who was their trainer, murabbi. Prophet was the one that who was answering their questions in deen or dunya, whatever. So Prophet was a man who was receiving wahi from God and conveying to people, but at the same time he was an authority, a judge, a qazi. And then also he was a man that who was explaining those masail which were not mentioned in Quran. Even what was in Quran, people would come to ask Prophet what is meant by this. For example, in every Sunni tafsir it is written that when this ayat came, Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. This is just one example. People came to Prophet and they say, Ya Rasulullah, Allah is asking us to send salat and salam on you. How should we do that? Now it is Quran. The ayat of Quran is there. But they don't know how to say it. They have to come to the Prophet. Or Quran says, Aqimus salat wa atu zakat. You pray and you give zakat. Quran says that. But then they have to come to the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, know how we have to do the salat. And Rasulullah has to know, explain that ayat of Quran to them. That this is how you make wudu, this is how you have to stand up, takbiratul ihram, then qiyam, then ruku, then sajda, tashahud, everything. It is not in Quran. The Prophet was explaining to them, even what was written in Quran. And there are so many issues of halal and haram and deen which are not written in Quran. The Prophet was telling, people were coming to the Prophet. No, Prophet is going and he is going forever and no other Prophet is coming. Now the issue is, who will do this job? Who will be? Now wahi, we know that was completed. We don't need anybody to receive new revelation because this was the final revelation. But people will always need someone to decide among them and be authority among them and tell them who is right and who is wrong when they will quarrel around, when they will have disputes and disagreements. They need an authority. Who is that authority? And then people will have always questions about deen. They will have always issues and questions about deen, what is in Quran, the details, the explanations, and the issues which are not discussed in Quran or They are not discussed by Prophet at that time because the needs were not arise. The issues were not there yet. But by the time new issues will arise, the new issues will arise, the new masail will emerge. Who is going to address those issues and those masail? Then Shaykh Mutahari again makes a very latif point here. He says, Sunnis will say that Islam was complete. Allah conveyed everything to the Prophet, and Prophet conveyed everything to the Ummah. And deen is complete. And now it is up to community to go and search and solve and do their issues. While our point is that yes, Allah conveyed everything to the Prophet. But Prophet was not able to convey everything with all the details to everyone in the community. Try to understand this point. Allah conveyed everything to the Prophet. Prophet received everything. But Prophet didn't convey everything with all the details to everyone in the community. And then he makes the point. He says, look at him, 23 years. 23 years, 13 years he was in Makkah, struggling around. And for 13 years persecutions are going on. There is no peace. People cannot sit with the Prophet. They cannot pray with the Prophet. They cannot do Hajj with the Prophet. People just come and see the Prophet in valleys, in what you call in those out in country area, or in darkness of night for a very brief time. Prophet cannot sit down and teach them everything every day. Prophet cannot have classes with them. He cannot demonstrate everything. Then he went to Medina for 10 years. Look at the 10 years. How many people came in? How many wars? How many trips? How many travels? How much was going on? Even if a professional teacher was teaching to professional students, full-time students, we all study at houses. And when we study even for 20 years, we are still student. In this day and age, when we are students, we have tape recorders, we have excellent pens and papers, and we have facilities, and our job is to study, and teacher's job is only to teach. And within 10 years, you don't learn everything in deen. Even today, how can you imagine for those people that who were illiterate, they couldn't write, they didn't have even these facilities to record and to write, and they had wives and they had children, they had herds, they had animals, they had farms, they had so much responsibilities, and there was no electricity at night, and there was, meaning they had to only study for a few hours in the day, and Prophet is traveling and they are working. So do you imagine within those 10 years they learn everything and every detail of this Islam? Nobody can do. The genius people today at Najaf or Qom or Azhar or Medina University with all the facilities cannot do that. So how those people are old, elderly, coming in their 40s and 50s with no background and few wives and so many children and then animals and farms and business and everything. Do you think that they learned everything from the Prophet and Prophet was able to give everything to everyone? Impossible. Prophet gave everyone whatever he could retain, whatever he could deserve, whatever he needed, or whatever Prophet could give to them. But then Prophet gave everything to the one who was going to replace Prophet after him. the man who would sit in the place of Prophet, and the one that who has to know, answer every question. He has to have those authorities. He has to have those offices. He has to sit and narrate Quran to them, explain Quran to them, teach the hadith to them, teach the masail to them, purify their characters, build their characters, build the community. He has to do all that. And then again, by Shi'i belief, we don't believe that Imam Ali had to know. You say, when was he listening? When was he doing those special classes with Prophet? He said, no, Ali didn't have to. As a Prophet didn't have any classes to learn from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who poured all the knowledge in the heart of the Prophet. This is how Prophet poured everything and all the knowledge to the heart of Ali. So the learning method, you cannot say that, oh, when Ali was holding those classes. No, this was not by classes. This was a given knowledge by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Prophet. And this was given knowledge in that way to every Imam. Imam Ali, through Imam Ali it came to Imam Hassan, through him it comes to Imam Hussain, through him it comes to the next Imam. So this is how, so we don't say that Prophet didn't receive everything or Prophet didn't give everything. No, Prophet received everything and Prophet gave everything. But he didn't give everything to everyone. He gave everything to the one that who is going to now replace the Prophet, who is going to be the head of the community, the teacher of community, the Imam of the community. So this was just introduction of the topic. We will have inshallah much more coming in coming lectures. We will continue this series based on the book of Shaheed Mutahari Imamato Rahbari in the whole month of Rajab and in the month of Sha'ban inshallah. I congratulate you, the birth of 5th Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam. Who was a major source of knowledge and wisdom. He was fountainhead of knowledge, and he was the one that who took the knowledge and the scholarship into a new phase. It was he brought it into a new phase. And my brothers and sisters, the contribution of your imams, because he is the contemporary, or the Abu Hanifa is his contemporary. And Abu Hanifa was the one, as everybody knows, that he was in qiyas. Very little hadith he quoted. Everything was built on qiyas. But then what happens? It was Imam Muhammad Baqir and it was Imam Ja'far Sadiq. They criticized Abu Hanifa for doing the qiyas. And when these people would say, oh, we don't have hadith, what should we do? Then our imams would narrate the tons of hadith. They said, come and listen to us. Come to us, knock the door, you ask and we tell you that there is a hadith. So, it was the contribution of our imams that later on, as we see, Abu Hanifa used the least amount of hadith, but then Malik did more than him. Then Imam Shafi'i uses hadith more than Abu Hanifa and more than Imam Malik. And then when you come to the fourth one, Imam Hanbal, actually he is the one that who gets totally into hadith. And he gets into hadith and he is not like Abu Hanifa. This was the intervention of imams. That Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, they intervented and they stressed on the need of hadith and they challenged these people that who are doing things by themselves. And when I'm saying hadith, you examine, this is my area of interest. I keep always comparing the hadith of Shia and Sunni sources. If you look into the fiqh, you will find 90% hadith. 90% hadith. Identically the same. The matan is the same. And only it was always narrated
his father, the hadith was not. And if you look into the other books, now they have different chain. They didn't like to use the names of our imams. They have the same mutun and same hadith and fiqh, but by other names, and finally reach to the Prophet. Today we know this copying system that China is taking everybody's everything, and then next day it is in market, and we see that there's no, people are all crying for the copyright. So my brothers and sisters, at that time also what happened, the hadith of Ali Muhammad, the hadith of our Imam alayhi salatu wasalam was taken, and only the names of narrators were dropped and changed, but the hadith was there. And our Imam alayhi salatu wasalam were content, because their purpose was that hadith should go out. People should listen the hadith, learn the hadith, and act upon hadith. And that was a contribution made by Imam, and particularly Imam Muhammad Baqir and Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq. So we conclude this at this note. We don't have any more time left to continue this discussion. But as I said, stay tuned, participate regularly in the upcoming occasions. We will have, inshallah, very systemic discussion on imamat in depth and length, inshallah, during the month of Rajab and in the month of Sha'ban. Now, at the end, Laylatul Raghaib, as I mentioned. Laylatul Raghaib is in the month of Rajab, the first Thursday night is considered Laylatul Raghaib. Sometimes what happens, as it happened this year, that on Thursday the day was Jamada ath-Thani, the first night. So on one hand it is the first of Rajab, but the day was Jamada ath-Thani, and we didn't fast, because the riwayat says that you fast on Thursday and then at night you have these amal. So that brings sometimes confusions. As I said, today the different Maraji Taqleed, their offices, they were approached. The consensus of majority are that Laylatul Raghaib will be, inshallah, on this next Thursday night. But some of them, they said, don't take chance if you have time, and these are the amal, these are the prayers. If you can do it tonight also, and then you do it the next time. So Ayatollah Khamenei, he says that ihtiyat, according to ihtiyat, do it tonight and then do it the next Thursday night also. Makarim ath-Thani, they are saying do it next time. But even if you do today as their muqallid, they will not mind it, because you are praying and you are doing tasbih and you are doing namaz. So what you do at this night, there is a prayer, 12 rakat prayer. 12 rakat prayer which you do 2 by 2. And in every rakat, one time Surah Hamd, 3 times Surah Inna Anzalna, and 12 times Surah Qul Huwallah. Every rakat. Hamd 1 time, Inna Anzalna 3 times, and Qul Huwallah 12 times. So you will do in first rakat, second rakat, you finish it, then you do another 2 rakat. So you will be doing 12 rakat. When you finish the 12 rakat, then this is 70 times you say this, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad an-Nabiy al-Ummi wa ala alih. It is written in these books of Amal of Rajab, whatever books you have. 70 times you say that. And then after that, you go in sajda, and for 70 times you say Subuhun Quddus Rabbul Malaikati wa Ruh. Subuhun Quddus Rabbul Malaikati wa Ruh, 70 times. And then you sit down, and then when you sit down you say Rabbi ghfir warham wa tajawaz amma ta'lam innaka antal aliyyul a'zam. And this is again written in your books this is the night when people ask their du'as, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers their du'as. So we request you to remember us also in your du'as. We will remember inshallah all of you in our du'as. Masjid is open. I have a meeting with a visiting family for something. I'm going in my office, but then I will also come back. And the masjid will be open until midnight. If you want to do your amal with concentration in masjid, you can do so. These are the 12 rakat namaz. And if you want to go back and do these 12 rakat namaz at your home with your convenience, you can do it at your home. It's all up to you. With that, we will just go ahead for ziyarat. And before I do ziyarat, brother Quran, do you have any announcements? So I should just do the ziyarat and we'll conclude the program. Yes. Yes. It is mutawatir hadith. It is in Sahih Muslim. It is in many of the. Shaykh Mutahari mentions that in the time of Ayatollah Burjadi, this institution called by the name of Darut Taqrib al-Islami in Egypt, they say they had a journal from that Taqrib Bain al-Mazahib al-Islami, and they quoted the hadith that Qala Rasulullah inni tarikun fikum as-sakalain kitab Allahi wa sunnati. He said when Ayatollah Burjadi, he saw that, he asked one of his senior most students, Sheikh Muhammad Vishnavi, to go ahead and respond to the Al-Azhar. So he says Sheikh Vishnavi, he wrote a book and he quoted every Sunni book of tafsir, hadith, history and literature. Wherever this hadith was mentioned, made a thick book out of it. And then he sent to Al-Azhar on behalf of Ayatollah Burjadi that the true hadith is this and it is in your own books. And then they say Al-Azhar printed that book independently from Darut Taqrib al-Islami. And I have so much on this topic, inshallah, I will share with everyone that this hadith is agreed upon. Yeah, they mention that one and they mention this one also. And then they say this one is actually stronger. If you look at the chain of narration, then this one is stronger. Imam Muhammad Man and Universe is the other book. Yeah, I know that book, but this one which I'm saying, Imam Muhammad is a different book than this Man and Universe. Chapters, yes, I know. Imamat and Khilafah. Yeah, there is a discussion in that book also, but you need to find the English translation of this book, Imamat or Rahbari. But whatever he is saying, this is still useful. Go on that website, alislam.org, and you will find a book by Shaykh Mutahari, Man and Universe. It's a wonderful book. I always suggest that book for reading. Many book people I give that in gifts. That book is a wonderful book of Shaykh Mutahari. Actually, it is Jahan Bini Islam in 6 volumes, small 6 volumes, and then put together. And in English they call it Man and Universe. But in Farsi it is Jahan Bini Islami, Islamic worldview. And so that is Man and Universe. You can look into that. You will have some other books on Imamat. We are Imamis, and Alhamdulillah, everyone has something on Imamat. I have plenty of books in my library, and I will inshallah, while I am following this Imamat Rahbari of Shaykh Mutahari, but I will bring so much other supplementary material to it also in lectures. And we will do a good job inshallah. That the idea is that everyone should have very firm understanding of Imamat, very good references of Imamat for our exchange our information to each other. At the end, before I start the ziyarat, for the marhumeen of sponsors of tonight's program, I will request you to recite a Surah Mubarakah Fatiha masbukatan bis salawat. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillah. For your own marhumeen and for all marhum mu'mineen and mu'minat, recite another Surah Fatiha masbukatan bis salawat.